Hello primary 4 students, how are you? Welcome in your science class with me, Dr. شيماء حمدى قاسم, and this is your channel, the Big Sister channel. As now we will study lesson 2, activity 5, the human nervous system. So are you ready? So let's start. We know the 5 senses. Yes. Can you tell me the 5 senses? Yes. Hearing, sight, smell, taste, and touch. Yes. And we have the 5 organs or sensory organs as hearing by the ears. So this is the organ. And the organ that's responsible for the sight sense is eye. And the organ that responds for the smell sense is nose. And the organ that responsible for taste is tongue. And finally, the organ that responsible for touch is skin. So, well done. Here we have a question. Do senses, these 5 senses, gather the information from the environment themselves? As the eyes can recognize the objects around us by themselves? The answer is no. So the senses can't gather the information from the environment themselves. So what happens? The senses work with the nervous system to gather information from the environment. So the senses work with the nervous system that we will study now. And this is why to gather the information from the environment. As in this case, the eyes look to these objects. And then this will be sent to the nervous system, to the brain. So now you know one organ of the nervous system, the brain. Okay, and the brain process this information and tell the eyes, yes, this is sweets, donuts, and candies. That is the meaning of the senses and the nervous system working together to gather the information from the environment. You know that mammals have the same structure of the nervous system of the human. And the mammals, the animals that feed their babies by the milk and they give birth. So now we will study the human nervous system. As we know that the senses work together with the nervous system to gather information from the environment. The human nervous system consists of 3 organs, okay? As we have the nerves, okay? And this is now. And the nerves are distributed throughout the body. They spread all over the body, inside the body. As you see here, these tiny red lines, those are the nerves. So they are distributed throughout the body. And they connect the sense organs and the body parts with the brain. So they connect the sense organs and the body parts with the brain. The sense organs as eyes, nose, tongue, skin, ears, all of these and all the body parts inside our body, they connect them with the brain. They are distributed throughout the body. Distributed is a verb. Distribute. And throughout, we know the word through as we have r and then O-U-G-H with the sound O. So it's throughout. And the meaning that they are found all over the body. They spread in the body. We talked about the nerves, and the nerve is one of the organs of the human nervous system. And the human nervous system has another 2 organs, brain and spinal cord. Okay, so here the human nervous system consists of the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. As you see here. The sensory organs, okay, send messages to the brain, as we saw at the beginning. The eyes send message to the brain, okay, and the brain process this message and translate it, and then it send another message to the eyes to recognize the object. And this happens with all the sensory organs. They send the messages to the brain, and this is through the nerves that we studied that distributed throughout the body. So take these messages from the sensory organs to the brain, and then back from the brain to the sensory organs, so we can recognize and gather the information from the environment. From these talking, we realize that the brain is the main control center in the body. So the brain is the main control center in the body, as it controls all the body. And it is connected to the spinal cord, as you see here. The pink part is the brain, and the yellow part is the spinal cord. Okay, so here, what is the spinal cord? It is a big nerve, okay, that runs through the backbone. You know the backbone? Yes, this is the backbone. And the spinal cord runs inside the backbone, found inside the backbone. And the function of the spinal cord, it carries the messages from the brain to the body parts and vice versa. What the meaning of vice versa? As from the body parts to the brain, okay? So the function of the spinal cord, it carries the messages from the brain to the body parts and vice versa. And here we will talk about the nerves again, as we know that they are distributed through out the body. In the function, they carry the messages from the brain to the spinal cord and other body parts. Okay, so they carry the messages from the brain to the spinal cord and other body parts. So here the functions of the organs in the nervous system. The brain, it is the main control center in the body. Spinal cord, it carries the messages from the brain to the body parts, and vice versa. And nerves carry the messages from the brain to the spinal cord and other body parts. Okay, so nerves like a network that carry messages between the brain, spinal cord, and all body parts. Here we have a note that some nerves are connected by the brain directly, as they not connected by the spinal cord in the brain. No, these nerves connected by the brain directly, as the nerves of the eyes and the heart, as nerves transmit information from the sensory organs to the brain. So nerves transmit or transport information from the sensory organs to the brain. Here, those sensory organs have a special type of nerves called sensory receptors. So the sensory organs have type of nerves called sensory receptors. So what are the sensory receptors? They are nerves found in different parts of the body that are responsible for receiving. So they are receptors, so they receive information from the environment. Okay, so the sensory organs have a type of nerves called sensory receptors, and these sensory receptors to receive the information, to collect the information from the environment. So the function of the sensory receptors, because it's very important, they are responsible for receiving information from the environment. We will take an example to know how the sensory receptors work and what happens, how the sensory organs and the nervous system gather the information from the environment. As here we have question, how does the nervous system work if you smell pizza? As you see here. So the sense organ, nose, receives information from the environment. the sensory receptors of smell that are found in the back of your nose, as you see here, this yellow part that I circled. This is the sensory receptors. So they receive the information, okay, and send a specific signal along the nerves to the brain, okay. Then this is the signals. So they send signals to the brain. Once the information reaches to the brain processes this information and determine the type of food. So the brain processes the information and determine the type of food. So what happens here, that the nose, this is the sensory organ, receive information. So the sensory receptors receive this information and send or transfer or transmit a signal, specific signals through the nerves to the brain. Then the brain processes and determine the type of food. So we realize that this is the type of food is pizza, okay? And it is delicious. So with this happy ending, as we eating pizza, we finished this lesson. So don't forget to subscribe, like, and share my channel. Thank you for watching. See you next video, inshallah, and goodbye.